property though, did you?
Friends,
Yeah.
family,
Did you own this
subscribers to the
area
YouTube
here?
channel, Adventuring with the S.G.O.C.C. We have got an epic, unbelievable video for you today. We are here with Louis, the prior owner of the Miracle Valley Bible College. And it has been slated for who knows what by the county. So this is going to be a preservation video. We're going to dispel all the mythology surrounding the Bible College and get the truth out there. There's a lot of people that, as you know, innuendo and rumors have a way of steamrolling themselves and getting out there. So this is going to be the opportunity to put things right. We hope you enjoy the video, and we're going to get things started. So, first off, is the place haunted?
No, it's not haunted at all. It's in everybody's minds. We've set perimeter alarms here because we were staying in this building here. This building's a pool of Bethesda, so this is our house here.
Okay.
But at night we'd hear things going on out there. We'd go out there and there's teenagers, either with their little mystical stones or whatever they're trying to conjure up or whatever, or just spooking themselves, running away. And most of the times I'd just chase them out of here in my pajamas and stuff like that. But no, the only ghost that's around here is the Holy Ghost.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. So just so people know where this is in Cochise County. Palominas is the area here. The border wall is literally 3 miles that way.
Correct.
And that's another country. So we're right on the edge of America. So from where we're sitting here, I see a lot of buildings that I'm guessing, this one still says library on it.
Correct.
I'm guessing these were classrooms and part of the college that, who was the founder again?
A.A. Allen.
A.A. Allen.
He was a tent revivalist back in the 40s and 50s. He acquired this property in 1958 from Urban Linedecker, donated it to him. Urban Linedecker was 21 in 1958 when God told him to give him the property.
Wow.
As a campus.
And this is a pretty good sized facility. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, without turning around or standing, I'm looking at a dozen buildings, and they're not small buildings either.
Correct. This is about, what we acquired was 63.2 acres. Originally, it was 2 square miles.
Wow.
Not Allen, but Urban Linedecker donated to Allen. Wow. And then Allen decided to buy across the street, and he bought 2 more sections, and that's why you got the Miracle Valley neighborhood across the street.
Oh, okay. Starting to make sense now.
Oh yeah.
So from here we can see Coronado Peak, the Huachuca Mountain Range, and it is just, if I stop talking here for a minute, you can hear, and we're mid-morning on Sunday. It is absolutely beautifully, peacefully quiet. Birds in the background. You can see where this would be a great place to study the Word. So,
Yeah, there's a piece about it for sure.
okay, so no hauntings. That's good to
None.
hear.
Are you sure?
Are
you sure
a
about
lot
that?
of people, and my sister-in-law included, when I first came here on the way to Texas back in 2012, told me that there was a shooting here on the campus. And I read a book about it, and there was a big confrontation. The sheriff at the time, I don't remember his name, but in my opinion, there was a great deal of restraint shown in the incident. But as you told me and Tim earlier, the actual confrontation did not occur here.
No, it didn't.
And it was a simple serving of warrants, but it occurred across the street.
Everything occurred across the street, and the only reason there were sheriffs at the entrance because there was an ongoing Bible college here. The Latin Assemblies had this properties from 1975 to 1995. There were students here, and they just wanted to make sure that whatever was going on across the street, everybody knows how radical that group was. I mean, they were trying to break out their brother in Sierra Vista out of jail, and they were transporting bombs. They had guns and everything else. But the police department was in the front gates to make sure nobody traveled back here. But like I said, there were students, there was staff, and and everything else here. So everything happened across the street on Olive. I think it was on Olive Street, as a matter of fact.
Okay. So that takes care of that. And boy, just looking around, I imagine this was back in the day when this was populated by students. It must have been absolutely beautiful. I can see some nice large trees, avenues, sidewalks.
Oh yeah.
It must have been quite something.
Yeah, they built all the blocks here. All these blocks were made here on the property.
So these are true Adobe blocks then?
I don't know about Adobe.
Well,
but
Adobe style.
yeah, Adobe style. They bought a brick machine back in '58 and somebody donated it, but they picked up the brick machine and they built all the bricks here on the property. It was cheaper that way than buying the bricks and having to transport it up here.
So back in the day, this was all ranch land.
Yeah, this was all ranch land.
And I understand they had a printing press because they used to print all their own pamphlets and books here on site.
Yeah, they built a 47,000 square foot facility in the back, which is gone now because it was burned down in 1981. They still can't figure out who did it. The students were here at the time. There was a printing press for printing magazines. He had a Miracle Valley magazine on there. And he also had a record printing press, and all the canning and from the orchards and stuff were done back there. Of course, it was the administration office, so they had all their offices back there. They also had a gymnasium.
Wow.
And a few other things back there.
Sounds like it was very self-sufficient.
It was quite an operation. Matter of fact, there's still one building up there, and that was a safe, a walk-in safe. It's pretty huge and stout and solid.
Like a vault.
Yeah. And most people that come out here to visit that were students back then, they didn't even know that was there.
Wow.
Because all they seen was the big building, and of course that was down,
Is the vault door still there?
Yeah, it's still there and
Wow.
everything else. It's kind of cool.
Wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah. It's a cool
That sounds kind of
thing
neat.
to check out.
And then we also have the big dome that everybody sees when they drive by on 92 towards Bisbee.
Yeah.
And what do they call this building to our right?
The one behind you or to the right?
To the
That's
right.
the tabernacle.
The tabernacle.
And the tabernacle was started in 1960, was finished in 64 for camp meeting. And the dome right there wasn't started until 68 and finished in 1969.
Okay. Now, as somebody who has a background in construction, I can see a lot of asphalt roofing. We got some tin roofing. This building, the tabernacle, looks like everything was removed and it was prepared for new roofing.
Well, when I came here, they had roofing on there. It was rolled roofing. It was done by the prior owner, but they put the wrong material up there. So it was blowing off. What you see gone right there is because I got up there on a summer day and took it all off. So it took me 3 weeks with my pit bull standing up there with me, walking back and forth, make sure I was still alive.
Wow.
And I pulled it all off, and I pulled up the top part too. Because what I was thinking of doing is ripping, which I did, clean it all off and let the sun hit it really hard and then sell all that wood, because it does have to be replaced, to outfit that buys, wood like that and repurpose it for, interiors and stuff like that.
Right.
So as of today, April 2nd, 2023, you have no influence on what happens to the facility now. It's all in Cochise County's hands?
It's all in Cochise County, and they're the caretakers for the state. The only influence I have is prayer and talking to other people about it. I still own 16 acres on the frontage road, though, and another 6 acres on this corner here.
So if people were to, say, pick up a phone or get a petition going, how would they do that? Is there anything set up now, or is it just...
There's nothing set up now.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have to have somebody that knows how to do that. I myself don't. My talents are someplace else, not in all that.
Well, if somebody out there knows how to set up a website and stuff like that, first name that comes to mind is Friends of Miracle Valley Bible College. Government entities, including Cochise County, have a tendency to listen when there's a lot of noise.
Yes.
And if we make enough noise for this facility, it would be great to preserve it in some fashion, find a way to repurpose it, because this is a place that can still have a lot of merit in teaching and providing a peaceful place, safe place for people to learn. It would be great if something like that could happen.
Retreat center.
This is history. This is part of Cochise County's history.
Exactly.
Can't watch it get washed away.
What was the primary religion that they were
They're
teaching?
Pentecostals, and also preserving the Pentecostal history. If you get on YouTube and look up, well, first of all, we have one. It's Miracle Valley Today YouTube. You can see Alan. I have a few clips on there, and he would heal people of their ailments. Of course, God worked through him, so he was a conduit for the healing. He also, was able to pray people out of their death at times. So there was a lot of miracles that happened in that building right there. And he was a tent revivalist. He was all over the United States. He was one of the guys that actually was, very instrumental of getting his movies out there. He was, about what was going on. He was on a lot of television stations and so forth. I've heard stories of after they filmed at a Bible at a tent meeting or here, they would take that film, run it straight to the airport, pay the lady on the counter $20. She would run it over to the pilot. The pilot would know what to do. Once they flew to that particular city, there was somebody there at the gate to pick it up, and they would run it to their television station or wherever it was going.
Wow.
You can't do that these days.
No, you sure can't. That's pretty cool. So those who watch this video, we'll put some links in the comments so you can see Alan in some of these movies that are still online and available. We'll post some other links for pictures. You said you had some of the books, and
I have some of the magazines. I have a lot of his books and a lot of records too.
Okay.
And somebody handed me some records, and they thought they were miracle
sit down on the car.
But actually, when I looked at them, I go, no, this is
Go sit
the
down.
other group that was here.
Oh,
They were trying to
across the street.
duplicate what Alan had going on across the street, because their church was right across the street at the old furniture store over there.
That falls under what I have always called the construct of man.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have God's hand working on it with you,
Yeah,
it can't succeed.
right.
The construct of man is always going to be for man, by man, to man.
Yes.
And if God's not included,
Yeah. Down the tubes you
it
go.
will come to naught. And I understand, as I understand it, they were very ambitious. They brought a lot of believers in Christ from Chicago, Philly, some of these big cities, brought them down here to Cochise County ranch land
Yeah.
in the middle of the 70s, which was really a recipe for problems.
Right.
And like I said earlier in the video, in reading the account, in my opinion, the Cochise County Sheriff at the time was incredibly restrained, because had an event happen now, like happened then, there would have been things happen a whole lot worse.
Oh, yeah. I think they did very well back then.
Because we hear stories all the time in the news about confrontation, and it just doesn't go well. So, well, if we have some time, is the tabernacle safe to walk in?
Oh, yeah. All these
Well,
buildings are
let's
safe
go
to
take a
in.
walk.
Yeah. The only thing you have to
Enough
watch out
standing in
for
the
is
shade.
a bird or two trying to land something under you.
Finally, we're walking.
So I see two power poles with some pretty major transformers, so this place was powered up.
Yeah, well, it was powered up. Our first 4 years here, the county did not give us any electricity.
Really?
So I worked off a generator. I learned about solar panels, batteries, but we were, I think we did pretty good for 4 years.
Yeah.
And my wife was a good steward of it all.
Well, it's too bad the county found a way to fish it away from you.
Yeah, it was interesting. And the funny thing about it is somebody donated 8 head of cattle from Wyoming to us. I've always wanted cattle, never told anybody. This guy calls out of the blue and says, hey, God put something on my heart to give you. I don't know what it is. He calls back, he says, you know what, I'm going to bring you 8 head of cattle, Hereford cattle. I'm like, wow, nobody knew that,
Wow.
God gives you the desires of your heart. But so we brought them out here, we placed them out there. I know nothing about cattle. I know a good
tasty.
steak. I know a good steak, and that's about it. But so I started building fences out there and everything, and the county decided to tax me for the parcels that had them on there.
And
I'm
this is
like,
good cattle country.
Yeah,
too.
but why would they tax me? It's for the church. it's to raise funds, you know, so, you know, I can't figure that out. We kept up on the taxes because I don't know what, you know, they were planning on the long run to get it all.
Well,
So right now they can't even come in through the front. You know, they don't have a legal easement. That's why they have to enter to Bethlehem.
what it sounds to me like, and this is for YouTube, this is conjecture and opinion. There's no fact. There's nothing that I can prove when I say this. But it sounds like for the past few years, the county has had an agenda that they've been working towards and using every new avenue they could to try to make that agenda become real. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So again, somebody set up a page, Friends of Miracle Valley Bible College. Let's put this into effect. Let's make something happen. Power the people, the voice of America. Because this video will go all over America. We've got subscribers in Texas, Arizona, California.
Let's go this way.
Make yourselves heard, guys.
Our Facebook is Miracle Valley Today.
You hear that, folks?
Miracle Valley Today.
Is the Facebook page.
And the reason I called it Today,
Todd.
a dear friend of mine that's gone now, and he's been here with Alan and helping him out since 40s, and when he was 50s when he was in Texas. Ray Atkinson. He would come here. He passed away a few years ago. He was 94. He came on here one day when I first got here, and he sat me down in that cafeteria. That's my first 2 weeks here. I was sleeping in the minivan right here.
And that building with the cafeteria?
Correct.
Well, that's really big size.
And he sat me down. He goes, you know what? If I were you, I'd change the name from Miracle Valley to something else. And I looked at him, and it grieved me. I can understand why now because of the name coming up and everything, but it grieved me. So that night, I sat there, went to sleep in my, you know, sleeping bag, blah blah blah, and something came to me, and God told me, you know what? It's Miracle Valley Today, and tomorrow it'll be Miracle Valley again today. So that's where it came from, Miracle Valley Today. So.
Well, I can see the steps. I can see the wood for the curb and the sidewalk.
Oh yeah.
What was the capacity of the mess hall?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but that was one of the first buildings built. The one that's out there in the field out there, that was a bathhouse. That was the first building, and that's because Alan had such a big following. I mean, people basically showed up here overnight. So he had to build a facility, laundry room, men's and women's washrooms, and so forth.
Wow.
But this is one of the first ones that were built. I have pictures of this, and that was a wood shop. Later it became another administration office, but that was a wood shop. Of course, you have the classrooms and the tabernacle here.
So here supporting the video and our preservation video is Todd from OFM Online. Todd has really advanced Sierra Vista, Hereford, Cochise County, this whole area that we live in, by being Johnny on the spot on events. I saw the one yesterday for the kids event with all the hot rods.
Oh yeah, and
That
the
was-
Cars for Kids.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
really
really
nice.
done. But congratulations on raising $50,000.
Yeah,
Wow, that was
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Well, I didn't do it, but
Well,
the community did. But
the
yeah.
community did it. So we have a great community here. We love living in the Old West. If you look that way, you can see 92 continuing through those hills. That's Bisbee.
Oh yeah.
If you look slightly to the right, that's Naco.
Yep.
There's an American side and a Mexican side. I mean, we love living here in the Old West.
Yeah. That's
Tombstone.
beautiful. I love it.
From here, Tombstone is what, 35, 40 miles? This is where everything happened. We just did a video here a couple of weeks ago on the town of Hereford, which is just foundations and an old rail bed from the train.
Yeah.
That's where Ike and Clanton met Tom and Frank McLaury. There's so much history in this area, it's just, you can't ignore it. And I think that we should embrace it.
Yeah.
So let's all go into the tabernacle.
Well, even the Linedecker family, they homesteaded this property here back in the early 1900s, you know, and they donated their portions to their kids. Urban Linedecker and Joe. Joe happens to be, his house is still over there, and that's where Philip Linedecker supposedly lives.
Wow.
Which is a tax assessor.
Wow. Oh, you still get a residence here. That is something else. You hear that, Tom? The echo?
Oh, yeah.
That's, man,
It echoes pretty good in here.
this would, even with part of the roof gone, part of it was covered, if I had a band still, I would want to record in here.
Well, if
You
you
can't
look,
see to hear the highway, and the acoustics are fantastic.
if you look at the last window here, see underneath the window, the height of that?
Uh-huh.
If you go all the way to the front, it actually drops from here that way. I think I had it down 18 inches.
Yeah, it looks like a foot and a half.
Yeah.
There's a stage. Was this a baptismal font in the front here?
No, no, that's the foyer, the entrance.
Okay. Boy, this is really something.
Yeah, well, right in this corner here is where they had bathrooms at one time. You see it? And those bathrooms going out that way because you can see it's this and the fixtures coming out of the ground.
Boy, I'd love to see pictures for this from back in the day.
Well, a lot of them are magazines, and I think the original magazines from the That's a two seats. Well, I had an air conditioning company out here to give me a quote, and they figured it all out because against the walls on each side and down these columns, there's I think it's 24 inches tubes that run all the way down from the front to here and from the back to the front.
Wow.
And that's to supply heat and air conditioning. Well, heat, back then it was swamp coolers, there was large swamp coolers on top.
I hate smoke coolers.
Yeah.
Mr. Carrier invented a wonderful thing called the air conditioning
That's
system.
right, amen, brother.
From a builder's point of view, I love it. So Kim got some good video of the foyer. Fountain. Good mix of concrete.
people would think that the shooting would be here, because this was the most well-known of all the, the churches or Bibles,
Right.
compared to the one across the street.
Right, and the one across the street was built in 1964, and there was actually a restauant.
Okay.
So the original Bible Healing
So,
restaurant.
yeah.
Soul food. That's a super joke.
Well, yeah, and so like I said, that to me, I think, is the biggest thing, and we even got confused on Cool FM Online, how we interpreted it.
Yeah.
And so we apologize for kind of getting some misinformation out there initially as well, because of our own confusion.
Oh, no, you're good. I happen to see that, and I always kind of give everybody the real, the truth.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin. I mean, I get hammered sometimes. I mean, nasty people. I'm like, I'm just telling you
I know,
the truth.
I know.
God
And
bless
so,
you guys.
yes, and so I'm glad that you guys are doing this, and then when I saw that he was gonna interview you, I thought, oh shoot, I better try to see if I can too, so we
Yeah.
can help set the, like you were saying, set the record straight.
Yeah.
Well, your post on Facebook, when was that, Wednesday or Thursday?
Was it Wednesday?
I think it was
Or
Wednesday.
Thursday, yeah, Wednesday, I wanna say.
So, and then I commented, there was a whole lot of comments, man, people, it's haunted, that place is crazy, you know, all kinds of silly comments. And then I commented, hey, we talked to Louis, we're gonna go out there and make a video soon. And then you called me and said, hey, county's gonna make some decisions, so we better get on this right away.
Right.
So in 4 days, we were able to put this together, get a group, including a photographer, I didn't catch your name.
Jackie.
Jackie, welcome. I know you commented on my response in the comments.
Too late.
Come out and do some photography. That's great.
I have wanted to photograph this place since I moved out here in 2011.
Anytime you want to come by, just give me a call.
Is
Well, time's running out.
Yeah.
Well,
are those stairs relatively safe
oh,
for
very,
an
I've
adventurous
ran up
soul?
and down the stairs.
Yeah, those are steel stairs.
My dogs go up and down the stairs. Let's go. And they're safe. Just
We're going.
to the platform, be careful.
Because I did that too. I even videoed it. I want to go. And now you're famous.
Oh, I don't need to be famous.
Well, you are now. Oh yeah, these are steel stairs.
Yeah. I thought that they looked pretty sturdy.
Yeah, we like to get, when we do any of our videos, we always ask permission. We just don't show up at places and uninvited. Oh wow. This is like the actual dome.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Could you imagine having to change the lights at the top of that up there? I don't know about you all.
Wow.
And then this is our view.
Feels a little soft over here, so just be careful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Is that stable?
Mm.
Take your phone back. It's dead. Or it doesn't have internet. Yeah, take your phone back. It doesn't have internet.
Don't walk around out there. Come back in. That just goes to the veranda. That door. Yeah.
Those are steep stairs, though.
So after an hour, we just had a little bit of packing. Coming up night 2, we pulled in here because we saw Louis' car. 'Cause we've been trying to get out here and do a video for quite a while.
Yeah, I've been, every time I drive by, I'm thinking, I want to talk to somebody about the history of this place.
Well, that's where Providence comes in.
Yeah, yeah, and I didn't know where to even begin.
Yeah.
Well,
And then the controversy started with the article, and then here I am.
Well, Providence has a wonderful way of having unbelievably right timing.
No kidding.
And that brief pull in, little quick chat with Louis, got his phone number, some information. Hey, we should do this in the future. 10 days later, Louis sends me a message. Hey, county's made a decision. Tabernacle's gonna go away. We need to get on this. I'm like, yeah, we do. So we decided to put together a preservation video. Coincidentally, the next day, your article came up on Facebook.
Yeah.
I commented there, a bunch of people chimed in.
Yeah.
Jackie said, hey, I want to take some photographs before everything's gone. And it's moving at a really fast pace, which I like. And we could spend hours out here looking inside every building and
We're gonna go to the kitchen next.
cafeteria.
Cafeteria.
Normally, I wouldn't have that gate open. The only reason I had it open, somebody was supposed to come and look at the backhoe that I had for sale.
Providence.
And they never showed up either.
Oh,
But I
jeez.
opened
But
the
he
gate.
shows up.
I'm sitting there, and it was for me to meet this guy and his brother. And I'm thinking about it, I go, oh my God, what are the odds? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like to
exactly.
meet him.
Astronomical.
And I was telling my wife, I says, I was just out there to open up the gate. This guy shows up, and it's like, now I know why. I got to get a hold of him, and that's when I sent the text. You know?
We're gonna-
I was thinking, I
So
didn't
as
get
we
his
start
phone
making
number.
our way out of the tabernacle towards the cafeteria, folks, I just want to mention, my brother and I started this YouTube channel 18, 20 months ago. And we do a lot of Cochise County stuff, a lot of history stuff. We also have a private gun club, so we do shooting videos. We invite our subscribers to join us all the time because we're out here to have fun, share history with people. We're asking people to please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, it helps us, and we just want to have more people to share everything historical about Cochise County with. Let's take a walk over to the cafeteria.
Dad, be careful. There's a hole in the floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's old. What? It looks creepy in here. And it stinks. Dad, isn't it creepy in here?
No.
It's so empty.
This is where people, look at the tables.
Are they dirty?
Yeah. These are the tables they ate on.
Yeah, that's like years of dust. Actually.
It's a pretty big dining hall.
Oh.
This is where they would sit, congregate, eat in between classes.
They get no electricity.
Looks like an old records on the ground.
Ow, how do I bend down with my knees hurt?
It's Beethoven.
Is that a song?
It's a classical musical artist. Goes from carpet to tile,
Or type, you mean tile.
or linoleum, or however they say that. This is the kitchen area.
Is this the kitchen?
Yes, this is the kitchen area. This is a beautiful,
Why is
beautiful
there a
kitchen.
toilet?
This must have been where the main stove and everything was.
Yeah, main stove.
Here's the hood for it.
There's just a toilet chilling. Look, there's just a toilet chilling.
Oh, they had a toilet and a bathroom, sinks.
There.
In here, ew.
Yeah, this was a wash area, storage, pantry.
Pantry area.
Ew, it's I don't like the dark.
Ooh, scary.
Oh God.
Yeah, he would be over here right now.
Yeah.
He would take off on me too, so it's like.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring mine either. I have a beagle.
Oh,
I have 2 labs and
so
a German Shepherd that's mixed with something. I forgot what it was mixed with.
Why they have this church on this spot, because I do kind of feel there is something special about this spot.
Feel it.
Hang
on, Scooby. We got some more stories.
And I didn't realize such, and so many people don't. You have to kind of be here to kind of feel it.
isn't it weird? But it is.
Yeah.
It's like God's been here and he left for a little while. But and also there's a prophecy that Alan gave back in the 70s, a few months before he died. This place would become dormant and desolate. And then a new people would come in, restore it to better than what it was, and then a great revival would happen from here and would go around the world. Now, I've heard of stuff like that. I want to see the paperwork. That's how I am, even though I'm a Christian. But these people show up and they're in their 70s a few years ago, and she's walking around looking at it. And I says, "So you know about the prophecy?" She looked at me. She goes, "Yeah, I was a teenager when I was here, and he gave it, and then he dies a few months ago after." All the students were working around going like zombies. Wow, he gave that word and he dies, and now what are we gonna do? So that kind of put the period at the end of the sentence for me. When I heard that, I'm like, wow, that's powerful. So if it means all these go down and somebody comes in and builds something nicer, so be it. You know what I mean? God's not in buildings, he's in people. You know what I mean?
Well, my church is in buildings. And do you mind if I mention it to my bishop?
You can mention it to anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know he's going to see the video. A bunch of my members of my church have asked me about it once I mentioned we were going to do this. But for me, every time I drove by here, and I've been in Sierra Vista, Cochise County for 7 years now. And every time I drove by here, you could, like you're saying, both of you, you could feel something. Feel something pulling, saying, "Hey, take a moment. Come here. Well, this is that moment, and we're here."
Yeah.
So, sorry to ask you to repeat yourself, Louis.
Oh no, I'm good.
But
yeah.
Tim was wondering about doing a video on some other stuff. When we first walked in, Todd and you and I, you were telling us about this building and about some of the things. Could we now get that part on video?
Yeah, well, actually, this is a cafeteria. And if you look at the architecture here, it looks like the inside of the Ark. You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that's what it looks like. A. Allen was a big cowboy guy. He was into horses, and, he was a cattle guy back when he was younger, from what I hear. So when he had all this stuff built, he had to he had the architect make it look like, what is it, the Wild Wild West in a sense, the architectural and stuff. All these poles out here, they were also that same style there, but they rotted from underneath, so they had to replace them all. Mm-hmm. But this was the cafeteria. This is basically the second building they started building. Of course, all the bricks were made here on the property. After it was finished, they used this as the cafeteria, mess hall, whatever you want to call it. Also, sleeping quarters for all the students that start coming in. Even though the first year or the first 2 years, they were having Bible college over here at Urban Leindecker's house. And I have the original pictures of that. But then they would sleep here at night. They would have, you know, of course, cafeteria during the day. And when they had services, they would have church here because there was no big buildings, you know,
Yeah.
to house anybody.
Well, after seeing the inside of the tabernacle, the inside of this building, from a contractor's point of view, for as old as this building is, it's in remarkably good shape, consider there hasn't been any maintenance for
It was
30
built
years.
in 1958. This
Yeah.
is better shape than I am. I was
And,
built in
I mean,
1958.
they used the right stuff. This is concrete board, which was very new in the 50s.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually,
dormer windows. I mean, look at this beams coming across here.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely arrow straight.
yeah. Yeah.
And they use dimensional lumber here, because those are 4x6s.
They picked
the
up
way
all this
across.
wood.
It's beautiful.
They picked up all this
Absolutely
wood
beautiful.
and it was delivered in Hereford when the train used to come in. Yeah.
So, at the video we just did a few weeks ago.
Yes, that's where it would come in and they would pick it up and the lumber would be transported here. From there.
Fantastic. Well, folks, we don't have the time nor the energy, my legs are killing me, to do every single building. I think we've made quite a good video. I really want to see this facility preserved. So let's get a website set up with somebody out there in the ether. I know there's somebody out there that knows how to do this in probably 10 minutes. I don't, Louis doesn't, Tim doesn't.
They can get a hold of me though.
But we put the name of the Facebook page out there earlier. It is
Miracle Valley Today
Miracle Valley
Facebook.
Today. There you
and,
go.
and also Miracle Valley Today on our YouTube. On your YouTube, there's a promo that was done in 1964, and it was this whole place here when it was brand new with the students, what the plan was for Alan, what he was doing here, and everything else. It's a neat clip that you might want to check out.
So let's get the Friends of Miracle Valley set up. Let's get some things happening. I know there's people out there that are on our subscriber list already that know how to make things happen. Let's get it on. Where's Cassie? Cassie! Oh, here she comes. I hear scampering feet. We're almost to the end, honey. We're almost to your part. So, more to follow. Like, share, subscribe, Adventuring with the S.G.O.C.C.
This has been a Fun Brothers production.